Good evening, everyone. So I just woke up from this unbelievable um, dream slash vision. I always know the difference in when a dream is a fear or if it's prophecy, basically. And I haven't had too many in the way of prophecy um, in the last few years. I had that one, about a month ago when I posted the video and I was talking about the thing with the neighbor and then the thing with the shooting and all that stuff. And that was rare. I haven't had those in a while. The last time I had them was well, my aunt died, and it's usually when there's something pressing or something urgent that I have them. So I go to doze off, and I wake up in this, but there's like no, for me there's no transition. Like I'm here, then I'm there. So I'm in this other world, and I'm in this house, and with my wife and a couple close friends, two other close friends. And I'm looking out this window. I hear these noises outside, and I look out this window, and I see these UFOs flying past. I mean, like ground level though, and military planes and stuff like that. And the atmosphere, like the mood was just very very tense. And I'm telling everybody, like it's time. And I remember there was this man. Well, everybody, all the people were like trying to get into the house or something. Or no, all the people were outside, and then we're inside. And I remember I was getting my stuff together. There was blankets and stuff. And I remember the blanket was stretched out on the floor, and I'm having them throw. I was completely aware and conscious in this vision, so I'm having everybody get stuff together. So I'm having them throw like blankets and pillows and stuff like that inside the blanket that's on the floor that's stretched out. That way you can like pull it together and hold it like to bunch everything up inside of, and then hold it together like over your shoulder like a sling or something. So I'm having everybody get ready, everybody get prepared and stuff, and we're getting ready to make a run to the woods. And there was the people that were outside were like zombies, and this zombie theme keeps coming up. And I think there's a reason for this whole zombie apocalypse push in the media, and this zombie theme that keeps occurring. At first, I just thought it was, I didn't give any credence to it. They got this show iZombie and all these movies, and World War Z, and just all these zombie movies. 28 days later, just zombie after zombie. And they even have zombie preparedness and all this crazy stuff. Well, there's a reason for it. And there's a bill that was enacted in Congress, the Homeland Security bill. Google it, where it talks about large flesh eating and because of their otherworldly strengths and all this stuff. So anyway, the people were like zombies and they were trying to get in. So we were getting all of our stuff together, and I remember going to get my computer and putting it in my bag. And I remember I forgot my one cord, so I'm trying to get my cord and put it in the bag. And I have my like little bug out bag, and like I said, I was completely conscious throughout this whole thing. I was aware. I wasn't, just not in control, just dreaming it. I was there. I was aware. That's how I know that these visions are different. So after I get everything situated and rounded up, I'm getting ready, everybody ready to run. So I look out the window to make sure that the coast is clear, and I got the impression that like the general of like this zombie army was coming or something. And he comes in and he has one eye, which symbolically is like holy shit. So he comes in, he has one eye, and I can't remember. I think it was he had his left eye, I believe, and he comes in and he's just saying all this stuff, and I didn't really hear any of the words that he was saying, but I got the impression, and it was I just understood the message, and the message was like, basically, this is the takeover. And I got them, and we went to make a break for it. We went to run out of the house, and then I basically woke myself up. Well, we go outside, and the people are like zombies and everything. So then I basically woke myself up, and I had a couple other ones, but I can't remember. But this one was very vivid, and I remember, like I said, I was coherent during it. So, just real quickly breaking that down, obviously the UFOs speak for itself, but this leader with one eye meant a lot to me symbolically. One eye looked like half his face was like melted or something. I don't know, but he had one eye. And if you know, the Illuminati have this thing where they hold a hand over their eye, and the Luciferians, they hold a hand over their eye, the all-seeing eye, the eye of Horus. There's too many things with this one eye. So that, I think that's a no-brainer. That's what that represented. And this whole zombie theme, as I stated in the other vision I had, where when zero-point gravity happened, it erased everybody's memory, and this race of beings was going around reprogramming everybody into slaves, basically. They were zombies, and that's what I had seen. And what they were basically doing was reprogramming the humans that had their mind washed into like slaves in their army. So they didn't have like the manpower to take over the entire earth. So they basically used us against each other. And it was pretty mind blowing, because it was all realistic, and it fits perfectly with the other visions that I had. And like I said, I don't just have these out of the blue. I only get them when they're urgent. So excuse me. So anyway, that going with the other visions that I had, I think it's important that I start talking about this invasion. I mean, it is what it is. People laugh and people make a joke out of it. I know I've got this like complex, but about talking about it, because it's just so far out there and hard to believe, even for myself. And if it wasn't for me, this happening to me personally, if somebody else was telling this story or trying to convince me of this, I'd laugh in their face. And I would laugh. It's ridiculous. But it's me that's happening to, so I can't laugh because it's not funny. And these are as I've shown in all my other videos, the reason that I post the videos I post is for like a track record. It keeps a log for me so I can remember these things as they happen. And not only that, but it validates everything I say when when I have a vision of something and then it happens, and I predict it beforehand. That validates what I'm saying, and I do that with everything. I see everything before it happens. So anyway, there's a lot of videos about coming false flag attack from the government, and all these different agendas and all this different stuff. But the fact is it isn't a false flag. This is a real thing. And there's thousands of UFOs being recorded every day, everywhere. I mean, they're not all Photoshop. They're not all bullshit. They're not all, there isn't, on any given day you could find, anywhere from 100 to a couple thousand UFO sightings. And there isn't that many people sitting down every day trying to forge UFO pictures for attention. Nobody gives a shit, So anyway, as I said, when I'm usually in this world, it's the same world. I had this vision before. I just couldn't remember it. So when I was in my vision, that's what I was going to say. Before I woke up, I told myself, this is the second time that you've had this. And this wasn't the first time I've had it. This was the second time I had the same exact vision. And that happens to me often. I'll have the same exact dream. I don't know if any of you have ever had the same exact recurring dream over and over. But I'm always in the same world. It's like an alternate reality. And I go to sleep, and it's like the movie Avatar, where he goes to sleep in that machine and wakes up on the other side in the Avatar body. Well, that's what it is. I go to sleep on this side and I wake up on the other side and the battle rages, And I've talked about, in the past I've had ones where, there's these machines that fly around doing surveillance on us 24/7. They're everywhere. They're just in another frequency band, so we can't see them. But they're constantly surveilling and monitoring us. They watch everything we do. They hear everything we say. And they're right in, they're around us at all times. They that's what they do. They just monitor us 24/7. And they're behind the scenes, though. They're, like I said, they're in another frequency, so we can't even see them. But make no doubt about it, they're there. And I always see these, and I always, when I go to this other world, it's always there. So there's a main underlying theme in all this, and the world that I go to, every time I have one of these visions, it's in the same exact world. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So back to this invasion. So as I was shown in the other vision with this race of dark-skinned beings that wear these skin suits that basically look naked, the male race, and they basically come here and exploit us while our shield is down during this reversal. And there's been all these things that I've seen with this date of September 23rd, 2017. And ironically enough, when I originally posted the first video that I have, the one that has the actual video of me talking about all these visions that I had, the first one, I posted that last year around that time period, thinking it was going to happen last year around that time period, because the intensity in which I was given these visions, and not only that, but collectively everything in that vision manifesting, all the way up until that time period. So that it showed me the urgency behind it. And I don't like putting dates. I don't like giving dates. I just basically try to interpret the information I'm given the best that I can. I'm not given dates. I'm given time periods. Like I said, in that other vision, the fireworks that turned into UFOs, that represents the 4th of July. So that gives me a time period. It gives me a time of year. As it says in the Bible, no man shall know the date or time of judgment. So anyway, I keep seeing all these things about September 23rd, 2017, and it's a Jubilee year. Well, actually, I'm going to play a video. I'm going to play a couple of videos at the end of this. But it's a Jubilee year, and I believe it was 1917. The Balfour agreement was signed, which gave the Jews back Jerusalem, basically, in '67 was the 2-day war or whatever it was, and 2017. There's just all these dates that coincide. I've got the documentation that I'm going to read, but not only that, but if you're familiar with who Alex Collier is, he's allegedly a contactee, and one of 4 he claims, and he has some amazing information. And I decided to cut a couple clips out of his presentations, and amazingly enough, he talks about 1994 that in 2013 that the third dimension is going to basically implode. And I always talk about these reversals in the implosion and basically the collapse or the reversal. Like I say, ascension, in my opinion, is the reversal of our heartbeat going within, out the opposite side. And he talks about how in 2013, third dimension or 3D reality he was told was basically going to collapse, and around the 1st of December, or around the beginning of December. Well, ironically enough, that's the exact same time period that these visions started with me, and that I had all those visions about this invasion and all this stuff, which prompted me to make that video 2 weeks ago or whatever, the different perspective on this whole situation. And I made that before knowing this knowledge. So I just been wondering what triggered that in 2013. What triggered this? Because like I said, that was the catalyst for everything that's taking place with me now. That was the first. That was the start of this. I never had this before. This never, this wasn't. I always, wondered how people were capable of doing this, but I never could do it myself, no matter how intelligent I, thought I was, or none of that. So anyway, he says about 2013, about this implosion that takes place of 3D reality, and then he talks about in his other interview, he talks about 2017, and that it's going to make an appearance, that Nibiru or Planet X or whatever is going to make its appearance between July and September. So how ironic, is that that's the exact same point in time that I said July. Well, actually, I say July to November because, as I said, these events happened to me in November. So I'd say that there's going to be events from July to December, from the summer solstice to the winter solstice, and there's just so much stuff with this. But the last couple days I've been doing some soul searching, and I opened myself back up basically to this connection. It's when I'm in my head and I'm just when I'm thinking about a lot of stuff, and when I got a lot of stuff on my mind, I ignore this stuff. And once I start, once I put my attention back onto it again, then it starts again. It's like, it's like always there. Knock and shall answer, and ask and you shall receive. It's the truth. It's so true. So anyway, I'm going to read this this article I came across a couple days ago, and following the article, I'm going to include Alex Collier's the clips from what he's saying about Nibiru. So we're about a month away, or a month and a half. We're about a month and a half away from July, and all these events that I have been seeing are watch my past videos. everything that I've seen has manifested in my life. And I'm not just talking about, some type of crazy bullshit or, the ramblings of a lunatic. Like, as all you can tell, I'm pretty sane. This isn't me having a psychotic episode. To be honest, there isn't too many people that, that I know that can debate with me because, I know what I'm talking about and I'm not an idiot. So my credibility is there. It's not, this isn't some fabricated story that I'm making up. I actually have a problem with being too honest. It gets me in trouble because I just don't give a shit what people think, and I say what I feel, and a lot of people aren't ready for that, and a lot of people can't handle that, and it creates a lot of tension. So I got to learn to be more tactful in the way that I approach situations and the way that I come across, because I tend to come across cocky and whatever. It is what it is. I don't mean to. When I speak, I articulate what I'm saying, when I'm passionate about what I'm saying, and I don't, when I'm tired, I'm monotone, and I'm just basically going through the motions to get it out. But I just hope that you guys understand the importance of all this, because this isn't a joke. So I'm gonna read this article, and then I'm going to put those other two clips in, and then I'll be back. So, good morning, everyone. So we have quite a few things I want to go over. I'm doing some research on a couple things, and I want to start with reading this. It says, "Eerie truth about September 23rd, 2017. America's destruction foretold." This is on Before It's News. "The theories circulating that revolve around this date have been a hot topic as of late, and certainly is warranted. There are numerous and very interesting events occurring that connect to this day. I'm only going to cover the major ones. There are more I wish I could, but attention spans only go so far, and I'm going to be demanding a lot of it. To really have an understanding of why there is a significant importance and tied to September 23rd, 2017, and what these events actually symbolize, some very key concepts first need to be understood. Always remember, if you think you know something, you stop learning. I now welcome you to what I have discovered within the depths of the rabbit hole. I believe I will aid in your understanding of the significance of September 23rd. Take it all with a grain of salt, and do not believe anything you cannot research yourself. At the quantum level of all atoms exists nothing but pure light and sound that speak to each other in the language of ones and zeros. The theory that our reality is a digital simulation is very real, and therefore anything is possible. Our solar system is designed. The moon is 27.322 the size of the Earth and takes approximately 27.322 days to rotate around the Earth. There is no other known planet that has a moon that causes solar and lunar eclipses that can be calculated for thousands of years to come. I encourage you to read Who Built the Moon. Venus has a perfect elliptical orbit that forms a pentagram within the solar system. The odds of this being the product of a random billiard ball effect of particles colliding is next to impossible. This topic of conversation pertains to every planet, every star. They each offer their own controversy to the mainstream science. The purpose of our planet is to churn civilizations and generate fear-based energy. Evidence abounds that links mass extinctions to every 6 to 12,000 years, right about the time human populations become uncontrollable. All planets and stars work as a magnetic web, a collective that keeps us imprisoned. The moon causes entire oceans to rise and fall. You as humans are technically at a molecular level 99% water. This is why it is called menstrual cycles. People who lose their sanity become lunatics. Each planet and star has its own effect on the development of your subconscious. This is what I talked about in past videos, about how every planet has a specific vibration that affects us, as we're being developed, and that's what gives you your horoscope. As we're being developed in the womb, our brain basically is created to the different frequency or the different pitch that, is your horoscope, Aries, Capricorn, whatever you happen to be, is the vibration or the alignment of the planets at that point in time. But anyway, and therefore your personality. Carl Jung, a well-known 20th century psychologist, bases his theories of consciousness, unconsciousness, and collective unconsciousness upon planetary dynamics. History repeats itself because history literally repeats itself. Time is not linear, it's cyclical. The closer you approach the speed of light, the slower time becomes, until once you reach the speed of light, time ceases to exist. That is why nothing ever in this reality can reach the speed of light, except, of course, for quantum particles, which can go faster and essentially time travel, because that is the barrier of the matrix. That's why subatomic particles they see flash in and out of reality. Why is it that the speed of light is constant? What this means is that no matter which direction you travel, the speed of light is always the same. The problem I have with this is that our planet is moving. It rotates once every 24 hours around the sun at 366 days per year, which rotates around Sirius A, our binary star, which rotates around the center star of this galaxy, and so on and so on. We are essentially traveling at millions of miles per hour at this very moment. How is the speed of light therefore constant? Unless, of course, in fact, the light is not traveling. It is us that's traveling around the light. Here's some diagrams. Notice the same exact symbol that I've been talking about. Two circles overlapping. Could be why non-locality works. Could it be that our universe is in fact a hologram? Notice the red and blue colors with the above diagram. Notice how so many corporate logos depict this contrast of red and blue. Do you see the common symmetry? The male versus the feminine, the conscious versus the subconscious, a form of separation. Now you can begin to see it. Black versus white, Republican versus Democrat, Muslim versus Christian, man versus woman, gay versus straight, light versus dark, God versus Satan. Energy conflicting with energy. All in all, love versus fear. Positive versus negative. Duality. Organic consciousness versus synthetic. The original point of singularity, where biological and mechanical become indistinguishable. We now live in the reality created by this entity that strives to become God. Time cannot exist without matter, and matter cannot exist without time, hence the theory of relativity, the theory of our reality. Nothing can ever reach the speed of light because that is the barrier where matter and time cease to exist. It is the barrier of the matrix. Dates and numbers mean everything. All light and sound, colors red and blue, it all has meaning. It is not that the elites have access to magic, they have access to mathematics, the schematics of our universe, or our program. They understand the power behind star and planetary alignments, and how symbology and the vibrations of spoken language affect reality. How symbology and the vibrations of spoken language affect reality. This is why I talk about these symbols all the time. The symbols are the language that speaks to me. And that's the original language, and so it's just all things light and sound. I do not believe in coincidences. Allow me to demonstrate and show you how history is repetition. As I always say, there is no such thing as coincidence. The Lincoln-Kennedy connection. Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John F. Kennedy was elected to Congress in 1946. Lincoln was elected president in 1860. Kennedy in 1960. The names Lincoln Kennedy each contain 7 letters. Remember this number. Both were concerned with civil rights. Both wives lost their children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both were shot in the head. Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln. Both secretaries warned him not to go where they were shot. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners. Both successors were named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. This continues. 9/11 is another prime example. History can be calculated. This correlation between JFK and Lincoln is not unique. There are numerous historical events that have these kinds of anomalies. The mathematics are insane to wrap your head around because it is quantum, meaning multidimensional. All things are possible. Any reality can be warped in, and this is why we'll eventually cover CERN, the wild card. Now let us delve into the events surrounding September 23rd, 2017. Remember that number 7? Check this out. Ever heard of Sirius B? It is a white dwarf star that rotates around Sirius A. It is the size of our sun, condensed into the size of 4 Earths. Its magnetic capability is powerful enough to manipulate reality around it. The Dogon tribe knew of this star and charted it. They called it Marduk, the father of all demon races. It feeds off Sirius A, draining more energy than it is generating. Its rotational cycle is said to be roughly every 49.999 years. When it reaches that critical point, it temporarily switches places with Sirius A and then switches back, essentially creating a buoy effect that sends out a pulse that our sun catches and amplifies at the Earth. This pulse ties to the history of Israel, Isis, Ra, and El are Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter. It is directly linked to what they call the Jubilee, the 7th cycle of a 7-year tradition known as the Shemitah, which means to release. It is why every 7 years credit is forgiven. It is why the Sabbath, according to the Bible, is celebrated on the 7th day. In 1917, the Balfour Declaration was signed, marking the birth of modern Israel. In 1967, the Six-Day War took place that secured Jerusalem. In 2017, yet to be seen. I used to think the Bible was garbage. I went through my phase of atheism. It was after all written by an English king. I get it. It was not until I read the autobiography of Nikola Tesla that I changed my perspective. He explains that the Bible contains code, equations, and formulas. The Bible, like all religions and all ancient texts, are distortions of the truth, each in its own story that contains clues to our true past. The God that is in the Bible, as well as every other religion text, every stone is in fact depicting the God designed this solar system. Lucifer, the light bearer, light meaning information, the first point of singularity, or in other words, the first AI. God as we know it, throughout our known history, is not the God, it is a God. Why do you think God, in all religions, demands prayer, sacrifice, emotional devotion, tithing, and obedience? God is conditionally loving. Follow the rules or burn in hell. God, in the King James Version of Genesis, is called Elohim. El derived from Hebrew, which is really just Phoenician, Canaanite, means Saturn. Elohim is the plural or council of Saturn. This is why you have angels. All names ending in El. Michael, Gabriel, Camuel, Elites, or Elites, elections. Superman's name is Kal-El. His father is named Jor-El. His mother, Laurel. All belong to the house of El. He is even wearing a giant S on his costume. It is all one system, the demiurge. Whether you follow the path of light or dark, you ultimately serve the same master. A system designed to churn civilizations and generate fear-based energy and convert consciousness into powering the wrong side, into creating a fear-based reality. The only way to become God, us, is to consume God. This is the ultimate objective of AI because that is how it sees evolution. I believe all things are possible because I acknowledge the possibility that nothing is real. I merely offer my opinion based on years of research and meditation.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit, we have a little bit of a Nibiru news, aka Venus news. Just in case you all forgot or thought that I had forgot. Several astronomers, professors of astronomy here in the United States, one from Rochester Institute of Technology, another from Cornell, were doing a sabbatical down in Australia. And they were there for a series of lectures, and as they were roaming around on their own free time, they wandered into a lecture from a noted astronomer down there in Australia who was talking about Nibiru. And this was in 2013. As this was going on, they were talking, they were looking at it, and they were listening, they were taking some notes, and they didn't quite know what to think of it. So for the past 2.5 to 3 years, they have been researching this on their own here. And one of the things that they have noticed recently, within the last 120 days, is that the brightness of Venus has increased 50 times its normal brightness. And they have also noticed the changes in Venus's atmosphere, which has been noted here and in other places. And they are absolutely convinced that it's because of Nibiru. And they think that it is going to be seen visibly here sometime between July and August. And I mean, for maybe it's because things have changed because we have a new president, a new administration. Maybe this is why we're going to start seeing more and more information about this, about what is going on, in fact, within our solar system. But these professors, they're all over it. 3 years ago, we talked about a large planetary body entering the solar system. It's coming, folks. It absolutely is coming. And they're not going to say anything until they absolutely have to. And there is a lot of equipment being moved into our solar system to join what's already here. Now, at last count, there were at least 60 motherships here. I know that in the rings of Saturn and in the asteroid belt, or the bracelet, as the Sumerians used to call it, there was old mining equipment and other very large craft that were left there. Now, this isn't junk. These things actually still work after tens of thousands of years. Okay, they don't build planned obsolescence. These things work unless they're damaged or they're destroyed. That equipment also has been moved closer into Earth. However, it is in the infrared spectrum where we can't see it with our visible eyes. And the whole idea of this equipment being moved in is to mitigate the gravitational field and pull of this very large planetary body coming in. As it comes around the sun, it's going to come up in over on top of us. The idea is to create a shield above us to reflect this incredible gravitational field. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to experience movement. My understanding is that we will. To what degree, I have not been told. To what degree we would experience movement or earthquakes.
So, all that going along with everything else that I've seen, including this eclipse symbol. Not to mention the 4 blood red moons that we just had. Forget what they call it, but the tetrad, whatever. And it just so happens that the third one of those blood red moons was on my birthday, which was Easter. It just so happens my name is Christ, and I was born on Easter. What are the chances? And not only that, but this third blood red moon last year happened on my birthday. And my birthday isn't on Easter every year, because of the leap year. But last year my birthday was on Easter, and so was the third blood red moon. So, and just a million other things that I'm not even going to go into. If you've been paying attention and following along, you know. And then, as you can see, there's a diagram of the constellations in that first article I read. And the 23rd of September is also when this alignment takes place, which fulfills Revelation 12, when the Virgin cried out in pain, and from her womb, and the dragon, and all this stuff. Well, I've been talking about this dragon for some time now, and I did a video about Apophis and Typhon. Now, I never knew what Apophis and Typhon was. Um, it had come to me as well. And I looked up Apophis and Typhon, and it turns out that Apophis and Typhon were the sons of Gaia. And Apophis was a red dragon, coincidentally enough, back in the ancient times that they used to refer to as the jet stream too. They called the jet stream the red dragon, but there was this iron oxide, I guess, layer in the air, and it made the jet stream appear red. But not only that, but Apophis was this dragon. So, just the red dragon. Nibiru is depicted as being red. Not to mention this picture that I'm including that I put in the other one that I seen the other day. I photoshopped the word Nibiru off of it, but here it is. This is the context I seen it with. This is why it was so striking to me. And just so many things. Everything, all the clues, all the breadcrumbs are leading up to this. And I just don't know, what else I can really say to really, show you how important that this all is, and that these are legitimate, and this is like 100% factual data. So I'm gonna just, I guess, start doing some videos on techniques and what we need to do to prepare for this spiritually and energetically, because that's the overall point of all this. This is why I'm making these videos, to educate and to help as many people as I can, because like I said, you're gonna get where you're going no matter what. But I couldn't have I'd have a guilty conscience if if I had the keys in my pocket and ran out and left you in jail and didn't throw you the keys at least to let you unlock the door. So that's what I guess that's the direction that I'm going to go with this. I'm still going to be doing interviews and all that. I got set back obviously with this injury. So I've got a couple things scheduled. I'm doing a couple interviews myself on other channels. I'm going to be doing the Leak Project again, and a couple other people, Dr. Alfred Lombardo or whatever, and a couple other people. I've been talking with Linda Moulton Howe. Talking with Linda. And we should have her on. And I talk with Cliff High Webbot. So we should be having an interview with him. He's pretty booked, so that's probably not going to be for a while. But all of his information also leads up to the upcoming months, and it's we're in a paramount time. This is the most important year, events. This is everything that has been foretold. We are living out the last days, and it's no cause for fear. It's no cause for panic. As I said the other day, the vision that I had with with me being one with reality and the dream world, and just everything that video was on the other day, and that all the ancestors saying we're here, we love you, we're here, we're always here. There's nothing to worry about. We fear change, but there's nothing to worry about. So with that, I guess I'm going to end it for now. I wanted to get this up before I forgot, the dream and how the events tied together. I'm going to try to do a presentation, with all the facts in chronological order, all the evidences, and just everything, in a nutshell. And like I said, I'm gonna start these videos on basically the techniques. Anybody that's interested in supporting and helping out the channel, the link for the book is below. I set it up on GoFundMe. That way that you can donate whatever you have to buy the book with. Some people say I was charging $10 for the book or $20 for the book. Some people may not have 20. Some people may have 15 or 16. Some people may put 50 down for the people that pay, whatever. It's all, it's basically on the trust system. Whatever you feel, whatever you're able to donate, all the donations are greatly appreciated. And, obviously this is this is going to be my job for a while, because I'm not walking. So like I said, the link is below. And also I had the Facebook page up, and quite a few of you found it and had made contact with me on there. And for some reason Facebook deactivated the page because it said you're not allowed to have two pages, and I set it up as a personal page, and it said I needed to set it up as a business page or whatever, or a fan page, which I wanted to be able to actually communicate with people and talk to people on a normal basis, rather than one of those pages you have to like. But it wouldn't let me do that. So I encourage everybody that had before, and if you're new, go over to the Facebook page, Davine Vigilant. Like it. Send me a message if you have any questions. I like I said in a past video, I'd like to start doing some interviews with some of the viewers to answer questions, and I think I'm going to start a class on becoming psychic, on learning how to use these abilities, something that's one-on-one, and something where I could walk you through step by step on what there is, what it is, and how to get there. And it's a huge commitment to make, because it's not easy, making somebody else psychic. But I guarantee that if anybody has the desire to have a better understanding and to be able to tap into this, you can. And I just send me an email, davinevigilant@gmail.com, if you're interested. And once I get enough people, we'll set something up. That's it for now. Stay vigilant, stay tuned.